There was no better place to get your rocks off if you are a Victorian sailor who's just pulled into port in San Diego than right here at the Golden Poppy Brothel. And although she may not have been putting in the back or FaceTime personally, all those satisfied customers would have had one very ingenious woman to thank, Madame Cora. Unfortunately, like so many of the women I end up admiring, there is very little on record that exists about this mysterious madam. What we can ascertain is that she arrived in the late 1880s in San Diego and took a room here at the former Louis Bank of Commerce building, now known as the Jewel of Fifth Avenue because, well, it's absolutely stunning. It was built in 1888 and originally housed a bank and San Diego's first ice cream parlor, but later had a swanky saloon owned by none other than one of my favorite shoot-'em-ups, Wyatt Earp. But upstairs, that's where the magic happened, because those boarding rooms played host to not only tourists, but gamblers, thieves, and one prospective fortune teller, Madame Cora. When she realized the sailors who mainly made up the Stingeree's clientele were more interested in a shag than having their fortunes told, she decided to pivot and ended up becoming a marketing genius. While other known madams like Ida Bailey serviced the gentlemen at a premium with quality girls, Cora decided to fulfill the needs of those lusty lads with something in their pocket that wasn't loads of cash. So she took over the top 2 floors of the Louis building and turned it into the Golden Poppy, a 33-room den of pleasures. The name possibly deriving from one of her girls, an Asian woman dressed in gold, and could also have been playing off the opium market run by the Chinese just a couple blocks away. Here, the girls were plentiful and they were cheap, and they came with a unique marketing plan. While Ida's women were demure and proper and safer, as the story goes, she had the chief of police in her bed, Cora was parading her women down the street, where the clientele made up of mainly sailors and tourists, many of whom didn't speak a lick of English, could see them. In a stroke of genius, she decided to dress each of her girls in a bold, solid color. If a gentleman fancied to tumble with, say, the lady in red, he'd simply tap Madame Cora, point, and receive a matching marble, a small token that had just recently started being mass-produced. That night, he'd show his marble to Cora as she sat by her big wooden desk, cigar in hand, wearing her signature turban, and then she'd direct him towards the door of the matching color, and voila! Sorted. No language barrier, no mix-ups, just pure transactional bliss. This color-coded advertising plan was successful, but for how long? We're not sure. We actually have no idea what happened to Madame Cora, just like we don't actually know where she came from. She could have been scared off in 1912 after the Great Raid, a moral crusade led by the Ladies' Purity League in the efforts to clean up the city for the upcoming Panama, California exposition. They marched 138 working girls straight to the train station and offered them a job or a one-way ticket out of town. 2 accepted. The rest likely came back. Legends don't go quietly. And although we have more missing pieces than answers in her story, those marbles that made her famous seem to keep coming back. Renovations of the gas lamp have resulted in the discovery of hundreds of marbles, most likely tossed by the men who slipped out the back, a token of a much spicier, arguably more fun time in San Diego's long and curious history.